than ever before.
Yep. Yes.
Isn't that so?
Yes.
And so is this a fault of the children?
Yes.
Well, I think that our generation, I was having a conversation with a cousin of mine who was complaining and complaining about.
I can't see you, man. You are not on camera. Nobody is actually on camera. Please, guys, be on camera, please.
Okay. My face is looking so sweaty and everything just coming in.
We understand. It's that time of the year. Huh? I'm sweaty here too myself. Look at me. You can see how oily and sweaty it is. When you tell people that it is hot here, they don't understand what you mean.
So I don't know how camera ready my face is, but
camera ready.
Because actually my apologies for my apologies for last week. I thought the upper week was supposed to be the end of season. I don't know where I got that impression from, but that was why I didn't bother. So when I saw that you posted something, the summary of the meeting, I was like, oh my God, did they really have a meeting? I thought it was all done. Okay. So I'm trying to clean my face a little.
Okay.
To clean the sweat and everything.
While you're cleaning your face, Miss.
Okay. Let's see.
I think she's ready now.
Does it look better? Does it look okay now?
It's always better. It's always okay. Come on.
Yeah, expect. You're full of steam, so it don't matter.
You're fine. Well.
It's fine. Yeah, you're
fine. Well. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Yes, sir. So she was complaining and saying, oh, my kids, they're so that she'll call them, they don't have time for her, blah, blah, blah. And she went, this is someone who lives here. And that she knows that when they were going to university, that
when
she has to...
Here, where do you mean?
Over here in Canada.
Okay.
So she said, oh, I had to work 2 jobs to put them through school, so that they won't have the student loan, the burden of student loan and student debt and blah blah blah. And long story cut short, she felt they were ungrateful kids, they were uncaring kids, and I said this to her. I said, "Whoa, that is your fault. It's not their fault." I said, "That is your fault." I said, "We are a generation of parents who think that our kids," and I said to her, because she was, she was raised in a less privileged home. So I said, you know what you went through. I said, you know what you went through growing up. And that made you rise to the occasion. It made you do everything you could so that you could be a better person. I said, there's nobody in life who has everything handed to them that who have to struggle for anything, that they think life comes easy. I said, so if you don't have to struggle for anything, then what do you need? What do you need to stretch yourself for in life? So I think that, and I said to her, we are a generation of parents. Oh, we don't want them to go through the things that we went through. We don't want them to suffer in any way. We don't want them to be impacted. We don't want them to, all these things. And then, God help you, if you are living in the Western world, they'll be telling you about mental health issues, psychological impact of this and that, and all that kind of things that they'll say those things traumatize children. So now we are, because the literature says that the children of these days are less resilient than, the generations past. So I think that, when we bring our children to a point where we think we must, how do I say it now? We have to be their safety net all the time. Then what do they need to struggle for? What do they need to strive for? What do they need to work for? Many people in my generation, you had parents who were middle class, stability, nothing to stretch or strive for. Then you're helping them pick up the slack all the time. What kind of children are you raising? If you've if you've given them the impression that I'm here to support you through life, what effort do they need to do? What effort do they need to make? They don't need to make any efforts. Maybe they finish university and you say, oh, okay, yeah, I don't want you to be stressed and take a car and begin to drive it. There are cars in this home, but I tell my kids, you can't just jump into my car and take it out and think that, oh, it's okay. No, it's not your car, it's my car. So you're entitled to use it if you ask my permission. You just don't jump into my car and go. So there are certain standards. I think we have not made those expectations known to our kids. We have thought that it's our duty to protect them. It's our duty to provide for them. It's our duty to shelter them from life. And so there's a lot of kids, next generation have never ever thought, or they've never had the opportunity to do things for themselves, to find their way for themselves. And I think that it rests on the parents. It's whatever you teach your kids or however you position life for them, that they begin, that's how they view life and that's how they approach life. So a lot of it rests on the parents, even though you find some kids who say, no, I'm going to find my own way, I'm going to do my own thing. But majority of the kids, they live life this way because their parents have taught them to live life that way.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Banjo. Ms. Shola, before we call on Professor Yowoli, Ms. Shola, Ms. Banjo has taken it from a particular perspective. Okay? I really wish that all our children are in a position for us to pamper them. Okay? If I might call that pampering. That I wish all our children were in a position. There are children that are family members, adults now, young adults. Okay, let me stop saying children. There are young adults, family members who are grown, they have finished college, but they can't find a job. They are looking, they are really seriously looking, they're searching, they can't find a job. Okay, those are more like the ones I am, think on. Okay. Mrs. Shola, okay, I will let some cat out of the bag now over a discussion I had with you, not on the program, okay? Over a young man, who was falling maybe along the line of what Mrs. Banjo just described, okay? And then the counsel, if you like, that was given to that young man about that I don't have to do anything, at least everything should be provided mentality. Type of young people, there are young people who have finished school, they have finished college, they are doing everything to go, but they can't. The opportunities are not there. Okay, I used to say to my own children, look, don't try to be like me, because you can't. You know why? Even in our time, as scanty as the opportunities were, there were still opportunities. As scanty as opportunities were when we started growing up to work or do business, those opportunities are not even there anymore now, unless you just want to be a sycophant or a political thug. Okay? Those are the opportunities that are there now. So outside of the ones that, okay, their parents could or have and could support them, okay? Now, those other young people who have gone to school, whose parents have struggled to send to school, and they have managed to finish supporting them to go through school, and they still not finished school, and the parents now need to continue to be the ones providing for them. The children or the young people, what is their role or what's their fault in that scenario?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody, once again. Well, number one, I want to say that parents should please allow their children to breathe. What do I mean? A lot of us, we choke our children with, like you said, and like Mrs. Banjo said, with a lot of pampering. That is number one. Then number two, answering that question that you just raised. some I stand to be corrected. And I want to say with all sense of responsibility here that our curriculum, our university, our educational curriculum as a whole is no longer sufficient for today's world. Because today's world is actually, looking at skills. They're not, unfortunately, most of our educational sector, especially our universities, they're still churning out people on the basis of certificates, that is paper qualification. And by the time they get out, it's a different world entirely. For instance, some companies like Google, they don't care whether you go to Ivy League in US or UK. They don't care what certificates you're bringing to the table. They don't care. All they are caring now about is your skills, And so by the time people, children, students come out of the universities and they are looking for a job, they are brandishing their certificates, which in most cases, even the courses that they went to read is probably no longer, in parentheses, relevant.
Viable.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So by the time you start carrying all those certificates all over the place, you'll be walking from pillar to post. Your legs and your feet are dusty and all that, and you still don't have a job. So that is why today the focus, the shift is on skills acquisition and skills in so many respects. We all know what we're talking about. So I want to say that much as I support children being educated and parents sending their children to school, which is actually a leveler, because I always tell people when I'm counseling young people, what I tell them is that university is a leveler. University is a place that will broaden your horizon. University is a place that you meet so many people, especially when you go to the federal universities. You meet so many people from diverse backgrounds. At the same time, it's just the beginning. It's a platform, it's a pedestal for the next level. Because today, you can see what is happening, not only in Nigeria, all over the world. Now, I was reading something about, I think it was Forbes or Harvard Review or one of the two that analyzed it. And what did they say? They said some of the courses that our children are reading, they are learning in school, in unis, and we can see it. For instance, I went to school, I read history, but thank God I didn't stop at history. Immediately I came out of school, I was fortunate by the special grace of God to encounter one of my uncles that asked me that I should go further and obtain, as I then, a professional qualification, which I pursued and on like that. But today, if you read history in school, what are you going to do with it? Even in Nigeria, history is no longer being my head. I know at the time, one of our VPs tried to bring it back.
History has been restored. History has been restored.
Okay. Thank you. That's a good.
Thank you.
Restored.
And I'm sure it was, why should you remove history from the curriculum? Because even it's supposed to even be compulsory at the lower levels. Why? Because you need to know where we're coming from, so that you'll be able to know where we're going. That's a topic for another day. But suffice to say here that one of the reasons why probably we have such scenario that children will come out of school, students will come out of school, and they'll still be assisted by their parents because they're looking for jobs and all that. Is because today's world is skills-based. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I agree, it's skill-based. It's skill-based. but family is still family. Remember why we're here. This is the slow parenting program. We're still talking family bonding. Yes, family is still family. Professor Wale, yeah, Mrs. Shala talked about curricula and then skills acquisition. And even when you acquire the skill, even when you have acquired the skills today, the environment, the policy, okay, whether you want to look for paid employment or you want to start a business, how easy is it for young people now to get going, Professor Wale, without the support of their parents?
Well, the principle on what we have been talking about, getting certification, getting skilled, and what have you, is quite necessary. But then, looking at if I'm going to contextualize it to Nigeria, I hope that is what you are saying.
Yeah, I mean, let's pick an environment. Nigeria would be a good place to start.
We contextualize it to Nigeria. The environment is very unconducive. The environment is challenging. It's tough for businesses. But I would like to say that here, in spite of all of these challenges, we've had a lot of, businesses, startups, like Paystax, like Moneyport, like most of the fintech. They've done really good, and they were started by youth. And we have a lot of agri businesses today that are thriving in the north, in the west, and in the east. And they are manned where they use drones, where they use a lot of all of this technology, and is thriving very well. I was in a farm in Adamawa, owned by a young lady, is wonderful. So it depends on the mindset of the individual. If you think that the environment is toxic and you cannot make it, that's a mindset. But unfortunately, most of our youth, they have this kind of mindset that the government needs to do everything for me. We know that the government is not up to task. They have not provided the necessary enablement. But even in spite of that, because it is problems, it is problem that leads to opportunities for you to provide solution. If you are looking at that problem as a problem and not as opportunities, you will keep seeing problems. But there are few youths who have really caught that chase, and they have seen that problem as an opportunity and they exploited it, and today they are smiling. So it depends on mindset. And one of the things I say to the youth is that if you are skillful, very good, that's good. The second thing is that you need to look at the problem that we have in the country, and then seize the opportunity from there, and then shoot up. Because things are not going to be okay. It is going to continue. Even in Canada, even in US, things are not okay. Things are okay. Things are tough today. But then it's only the tough that that can be able to at least overcome all of this. So I believe that if our youth will become number one, sir, is that most of our youth are looking for already baked cake.
Yes.
They are looking for an environment that is so peaceful, and that environment is growing everything they want, and they will start, picking it. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So what you need to do is that if you are skillful, then chase things around, make connections. I said, I met a youth. He said he had Facebook. I said, what of life? Which one do you are connecting with? Life. He said, well, I don't have much. I say, you can't make it. You need to connect with them. It's not your Facebook friend will not help you if you don't connect with them and then get things done on the ground. I say, so me, I have only maybe 300 friends on Facebook. It's deliberate. But I have a lot of friends, more than that, on ground, who can be able to help me. So most of our youth, they are in contact, but they are not in connection.
Okay.
They are in contact. Most of them have, they have digital contact, but they are not connecting. And it is people, it's relationship that you build that is going to help you to be able to harness opportunity and utilize that opportunity to become great. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Wow, wow, wow. That's so beautifully put. Bolu, I saw you nodding all the while that Prof was, putting out those nuclear bombs.
She was laughing.
No.
Bolu,
no.
Unmute yourself.
I
What did you say?
I was nodding.
It was nodding.
Like
I didn't look at you. I was busy talking. I didn't.
That's why I put her up so that you can see her now and see that she's actually.
It was like Rema.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, Bolu, I came to you now because again, you are creatively challenged. Let me put it that way. Okay, creatively challenged, not inclined. It's challenged now. Inclined is still dormant. Challenge says you do what you need to be done with creativity. Professor Wole mentioned a lot of things along those lines. I use Paystack. Anything we have to do concerning this project, Nostalgia Media and all that, is Paystack. That payments, earnings, payments is Paystack. It's a Nigerian young person that developed Paystack, which is true. There are so many. But
Flutterwave is there.
Many. There are
quite
many.
A lot of them.
There are many. But you still find young people. I'm sorry, please, at the risk of sounding immodest, okay? When we started business, it wasn't different. It was not different. Okay? It was not different. I could say I had friends, people who went to school together, who were still carrying files, looking for jobs, writing application, and I said, no, I won't. I actually ended up employing some of them to work with a Justice magazine then. And what did I say? I said, look, we have to show that we can get things done. Bolu, I'm talking to you because you are in that mode. You are closer to the ones now and also close to us somehow. Are you in this meeting or in another one, Bolu? Bolu, can you hear me? Because
yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I was distracted by my child, but yes, I can absolutely hear.
All right.
I'm with you.
Let them know that what's going on here will benefit him or her too. Now, let me paint a scenario. I'm struggling to give this case study. Joey will know why. I won't say I'll try to, craft the case study here now. You have a young man who has finished college, university, okay? And he's on Twitter, he's on iPad, he's on tablet, he's on laptop, he's on this phone, he's on that phone. He's streaming here, he's streaming there, he's streaming. And every month he burns X amount of data. And nothing happens. And he says, but I don't have a job. You get where I'm going now? Professor Wole just mentioned Paystack, mentioned Flux, this one, that one. All of those things. Forget applications. Even streaming. Streaming, what are we doing here? Why are we all of us here? All of you are very busy people. Why you're here? We're running this program. Creativity is not enough. Put in another way. talent is never enough. Okay? You need to package that your talent, check for that problem in society, look for that solution that you are offering, bring it to the notice of problems. That's what they taught us in business. We say, if you come to that cycle, go and sleep, you are made. But this young person that is streaming here, they are spending so much money on data, now says to the person mentoring him, you don't even know what I have. If you know what I have, you will fear. That you're telling, if you know what I have, you fear, has swam in the ocean, swam in the river, swam inside the teacup self, survive all of them. And you are there. And what you are just being told is that what matters is results. Results. You have to. That you can do doesn't mean anything until the result. So it looks like we're jumping issues. We're not. There are young people that don't have a choice but for their parents to please support them. Please, parents, don't get us wrong. We're not trying to confuse you, please.
Sorry, I want you to look at what I put on the chat.
Yeah, I read it. Absolutely beautiful
But please, can you read it out? Go ahead, please help us read it out.
Okay, all right. So it says, parents love their children and always want them to be happy. However, sometimes parents' good intentions backfire and result in pampering children. Ineffective parenting strategies lead to pampered child syndrome, PCS. The parents who pamper their children do not realize that they have been pampering them until they experience negative consequences. It then becomes challenging when children easily adopt a pampered lifestyle. Pampered children exhibit adjustment problems. Such children become over-demanding and feel entitled. This generates negative feelings towards such children. Ultimately, nobody likes them. Therefore, it is important for parents to understand their role and responsibilities in their children's lives and adopt adequate measures while parenting.
Wow. Well, I think we should just say good night at this point on the program because
like mic drop.
Mrs. Banjo, yeah, I think we should just say good night. The program is ended. It's over. Prof have finished it because when we say parents must please, we said dear parents, please keep talking. Yes, you keep talking, but not to encourage, indulge, now pamper, because that's what it is, right? That you have. Something I used to tell what young people I mentor. You don't have to buy. It's not everything you have money to buy you should buy.
Absolutely.
You understand? You can buy it if you have the money in your pocket, but it is not everything you have money to buy that you should actually go ahead and buy. Now, you believe, yes, Mrs. Sishola, the way the person actually put it, he said, well, I will quote, please. I'm sorry, I will quote. I won't mention name. Is still, I say young person, mentoring, good. And God told me that, yes, I'm rich. God told me that I'm rich, but my richness right now is in the hands of my parents. Hallelujah. You understand? But right now, my riches are in the hands of my parents. I am still preparing. And I'm like, if you are preparing, God never, please, go back. I quoted the Bible back to the person. Go back and read the Bible. God says, if you do not work, you must not eat. He didn't say you may not. He said, you must not eat. Okay? He said, if you do not work, you must not eat. We have pastors in the house. True or false, Mrs. Banjo? Can you hear me, ma'am? I'm asking.
Yes, sir. I said it's true.
Good. So it is not a debate, it's a law. So if you don't eat, don't expect, sorry, if you don't walk, don't expect food. Now we now have this person is burning 30,000. We're still talking Naira now, Nigeria. Is burning 30,000 Naira worth of data every month. Okay? And it now goes on to say, well, you see, I stream a church program. I also stream. The things you're streaming, what are you earning from them? The internet is there for business. What effort are you making to monetize what you are doing? There are people who post one picture, and have you tried to study to know what that person did, to know how you could replicate, to know you have XYZ talent? Why don't you try to package them and use them to stream on those channels that you are doing what on? So the challenge here is this. The pampering thing that Professor Oyewole just rounded all of that up. Touched on the entitlement mentality. It didn't call it entitlement, but that's what it is. Touched on the entitlement mentality, and then touched on, Mrs. Banjo mentioned it. He said here they will say mental health. They will quote for you. You see, this thing you are doing now, self, I'm beginning to feel mental. It's affecting my psychology. Please, my mother would have used backhand to reset your brain immediately. It will reset. Your brain will reset automatic. You don't want a second one. But what are we doing now? We are talking, parents. Yes, I'm appealing. Help as much as you are in a position to help. But please do not pamper. Do not challenge your children. Keep talking. Mrs. Shala responded, I sent what I sent to the person I'm referring to her. And she was like, oh, the last bit is too harsh. Yes. You see that harshness is that backhand resetting of brain that's needed. Yes.
That's child abuse.
It's not child abuse.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It's not child abuse. This is words now.
No, I'm pulling your legs. I mean, that's what we do.
Understand. I understand you, sir.
No,
there are times that parents, you are the only ones who are in positions to tell your children the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
It might hurt. You might say it can affect their ego. Sorry, not ego. Their self-esteem. Which self-esteem? I prefer to talk about Christ's esteem instead of self-esteem. And one of the example I gave to the individual was Apostle Paul was a tent maker. Hello? Apostle Paul made tents to make a living. He actually boasted to say, all of you, come out here, raise your hand to tell me, tell me any of you that say I'm depending on you to feed. Apostle Paul. Is that the ministry, the missionaries we have today? No. Who are our children learning from? Okay? So the point here is, it's good to see thread. Don't ever forget who we are. Please, don't ever forget. Don't ever forget. Whether you live in Newfoundland, you live in Montreal, you live in Lagos, you live in Tokyo, you live in Washington, wherever on planet Earth you live, remember who you are. That's why at the beginning of this program, continuously on this program, we talk about your family values, your traditional values, okay? Your values, your ethics, you must continue to drum them to your children no matter their ages. No matter their ages. The time I once read a letter here from my father. I received that letter while I was doing this service. I think I was about 25 years old or so that time. Okay? Always remember the son of who you are. Thank you. Okay? Because when you get home now, they will ask you, well, what happened? Now you're asking your children some questions. They say you are harassing me. I mean, that's harassment. I'm harassing you. Yet you want me to write a check and give to you, Abby? We need to keep talking, but we need to know that our children actually need more help now than ever before.
Can I jump in, sir?
Go ahead, sir. Right, jump in. But just give me a moment before you jump in.
After you, I will jump.
Yeah, before you jump in, sir, I want to welcome somebody who is joining us here. She entered quietly. She entered very quietly and kept quiet. She's Tone Twackley Lawson. Tone is a broadcaster with the Lagos State Broadcasting Corporation. She's joined us here to observe. She'll be joining us in the course of the program going forward. Tone, can you say hello, please? And please be on camera. Let's see your beautiful face, I beg.
Well, because I'm still driving, that's why okay. Even if I'm on camera, you may not be able to see me. Okay. But you know, I am delighted, you know, to to be here on this platform. You know, I have, you know, quite like he said, I came in quietly and I've listened quietly. And I think it's interesting. I think it's a place I want to be, you know. So good evening, everyone. Well, it's evening here in Nigeria. I don't know how many people on this platform are in Nigeria, but good evening, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Tom.
We did here with you for Nigeria. We did here. We did here.
Okay, that's good. My name is Tom Adirele. I used to be. All right, sir. I used to be Twackley Lawson, and that's what he knows me to be. So yes, it's a delight.
My apologies. I also know that they're really sorry, but the one that I remember quickly is the Twackley Lawson.
Twackley Lawson, yes.
Which is still the federal government collecting.
She's the past president, right? Of Ego Closer.
Yes, she was.
Yes.
Yeah, we were doing some behind the scenes with that kids saga, you know, the kids that were expelled.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one. Yes, it was. That was a
all right. Before you let this turn it into FGCL, let us move ahead. Yes, okay. Mrs. Banjo, yes, you wanted to jump in. Jump right in. Tom, you can keep driving. Please keep your eyes on the road, please. We don't want any issues. All right.
Thank you.
All right, but still stay and listen. Okay, yeah.
Oh yes, I will.
So I was about losing my train of thought. I am trying to recenter myself now. But okay, yeah.
Maybe I should jump in if you are still trying to boot.
I'm rebooting. So yeah, so I was shut down just a minute ago. Anyway, so you were talking about us talking as parents. We should keep talking, but I think beyond the talking, there must be the doing. Because I noticed that a lot of women, we talk, we say things, but then, you know, when we get hoodwinked somehow by our children to do what we have said we will not do. I think beyond what we say, we must back it up with our actions. So it's not a matter of, my child, you have to explore opportunities or create opportunities for yourself or see opportunities where there are no opportunities. And instead of pushing them in that direction, you know, you kind of mollycoddle them. And when they say, they don't know what to do or they can't find what to do, you pay their rent, you do their everything. That is not going to help. So what we are saying and what we're doing must align. If we're saying one thing and we're doing a different thing, then we're not going to help those children in any way. What we're saying must be backed by what we're doing. So I remember that for my kids, when they were going, the first one was going into university, you know, the excitement, first is going into university. I had said before then that they were all going to get OSAP. And they were going to know that they have a debt burden waiting for them. They'll focus in school and they'll do what they need to do you know, and then they will be able to get in the place out on time. So when they went, his first year was, oh, my son's going to university, and I went to town and everything. And then the first year I was like, oh my God, did you not promise that you were not going to do this? So the second year, so when he was going to school, Mom, so I got a place, is this 1,000? I said, my dear, you work during summer, you're going to use your money to pay. I was like, Mom, I said, yes, you're going to use your money to pay. And one thing I've discovered with those kids is that, that's their own thing. When they're spending your money, they go to town. But when it's their money now, they'll find things. I just pick them up from stories I hear and things people tell me. So there's this particular uncle, he's passed on now. He was one of the earliest people to come here to settle. He was a dentist by profession. And he was quite wealthy. And then he sent his first daughter to school. When that one got to school, she started playing. So she was in university, and the father thought she was doing university and everything. At the end of the year, let us see results. Said, well, actually, Dad, I wasn't going to class. I was missing class and all that story. The father was like, huh? You mean you have burnt one whole year of tuition? And you know, these kids now, no, it was like, no. So the father said, going forward, the others, when you're going to school, you go take OSAP, go take the student loan. So when you finish, and you finish well, I'll pay off your loan. So when he said that, I was like, that's true. We were just talking about parenting and all that. I said, that's true. That's a good way to go about it. But when I got there, I forgot. But then my second year, I did a quick brain reset. And I was like, no, you go take OSAP. You go find your own building. When that second year, when my son, there was a time he went to school, I'd been saying, look for your accommodation, get your own accommodation, because school was not offering them as accommodation. Get your own accommodation. He was doing whatever he wanted to do. At the end of the day, they found one place. So when we went to drop him in Ottawa, he got to the place, he was like, oh, it looks worse than it actually is. It's so bad. It's so terrible. I can't stay here. Oh, Mom, I'm going to call Auntie so-and-so. This auntie person, I had been telling him all through summer, call, not because I wanted him to stay with her, but just because she's my friend and I wanted, him to be in touch with her. He never had a moment to get in touch. All through summer, I was like, have you spoken to Auntie so? Have you spoken to Auntie so? Oh, Mom, I tried her. She didn't pick the phone. Oh, Mom, this. The day we got to Ottawa and he got to the apartment and he didn't like it. It was a basement apartment. It's like, I got to call Auntie I can't stay here. I said, you call Auntie who? I said, you are not calling Auntie nobody. So when I went into the apartment, before I came out, he called Auntie that person. Mm-hmm. And the auntie and spoke to her and said, Auntie, I got this apartment. I don't like it. I'm not going to stay there. Can I stay with you? My cousin and I, can we stay with you for 2 weeks till we get a place? And of course, Auntie so-and-so, out of respect, will say, sure, come along. So when I came out of the apartment, I said, okay, let's start taking things in. So he squeezed his face up and said, well, I'm not taking anything in. My husband was there. And his cousin, my sister's son, was there too. So they were sharing an apartment. And they were like, oh, Mama, that place is not really good. Maybe we should go. I said, no, he's staying here. He had the whole of summer to find a place. And he found this place online. Online, it doesn't always look like what it is in reality. Mm-hmm. I said, if he had been more serious about getting a place, he would. And I don't want you to go and stay with Auntie anybody, because it's a short-term measure. And that place is far from where your school is. So it's not going to work. I don't want to entertain any excuses for not doing well, any stories. I am not going to entertain it. I said, you know what? You are staying in that apartment. It said, but Mom, I said, you are going to stay there. There's no backpedaling. And you better start packing your things there. I will help you clean up the place. We'll stay here and clean up all day. And when we finish cleaning up, you will stay in this apartment. But for you to think that I'll come from Toronto and start jumping up and down looking for a place for you, you're old enough to find your own place. Nobody found house for me when I was in school. So because I insisted and put my foot down, even my husband was saying, Mama, maybe. I said, no, maybe. Are you going to come back tomorrow to look for something? No, he's staying and we've got a place. We've given the guy a deposit. This is where he's staying. And he was not completely pleased with it, but that was where he stayed for that year. That was where he stayed. I was not, because I've given you, I've set expectations for you So I expect you to work with those expectations, to live properly. Don't think that I'm going to pamper you and cuddle you. And I've said something in the beginning, then I'll change when, no. I have to live with what I have said we should do. Because if I keep changing, if I keep flip-flopping, you'll never take me serious. And you'll never see life to be what it's supposed to be. So beyond the speaking, there must be the doing, so that we are backing our words with action, so that they know that when we say something, we're serious about it. When we say, go and find a solution, go and find a solution. And we help them within reasonable limits. So we don't say, oh, okay, go and look for some of your what's it called, some of your rent money, and then he doesn't get scratch, mommy, I didn't get, and then you give them the whole, no, he will come back next year and do the same thing. But if you say no, whatever you have is what you're going to use, they will stay with it.
Thank you so very much. Professor Yawale, jump right in. Go ahead.
No, what I want, I mean, she has talked about the leaves and the branches. Me, I want to talk about the root and the stem.
The root and the stem. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
You see, this, in the days when we were going to school, my parents never knew the school I went to. Secondary, when I was in HSC, they never knew. University, they never stepped there at all. I had to go and find my way, carry my portmanteau on my head. Friends, people like us, we were the cause of this problem. That is the root.
Yes, we don't want them to suffer what we suffered.
We never allow our children to go through what we went through. And
is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing?
It's a bad thing.
No.
It's a bad thing.
Some of the things our parents, taught us in terms of it makes us to grow. It also develops us to be independent, to be able to take decisions on our own. It helps us. We took it to the extreme by not even giving any space because we think that they are going to hurt themselves, or they will be lost, or something will happen to them. Therefore, they never develop to do anything on their own.
No. Well, it wouldn't be all of them, sir, would it?
We carry them to school.
Mm-hmm.
We go and bring them from school. We give them their food. We do everything for them. Their clothes. We even when they come back, we beg for them. I'm telling you. So that's why I said what she said is the leaves and the branches.
Okay.
So parents need to allow their children. We've said it severally on this program, that in order for them to develop, they need to develop spiritually, emotionally, socially, and all that. Parents of nowadays, if they continue the way we started, the children, the generation alpha that we have now, they will be so bad that people will be taking them to office. They will be living under the roof of their
There's bring your children to work day. There's bring your children to work day.
So all of this will happen. And is becoming more degenerative. That's it. It's getting bad. I'm telling you, I'm a director in both primary and secondary school, and I can see it happening. It's not abating. And in the university where we teach also, we also see parents following their children up to that level. They don't allow them to there's no breathing space for them to even do things on their own.
They don't even let them think. They don't let them think through issues
at all. So
they will preempt them, and they will
okay. Professor Yawale and Ms. Banjo, let me drag Bolu into this story. Okay, like I said earlier, Bolu is in between, and then the generation of the today too. She too has them, just like, but she's closer to them. Bolu, I could see you, gesticulating. It's like maybe you are not in total agreement with what they are saying. Look, I don't, if I have the means, okay, which is why I asked the question ab initio, the struggles we are going through, the investments we are making, who are we making them? But you want to be sure that you make those investments for your children who appreciate them and who are also mentored to be able to chart their own courses. Before you answer, the very first place I rented an apartment to live, I actually had my office there too. My landlord then, of blessed memory, Mr. Williams, when the children started school, they were getting older. One finished secondary school and now got to the university that time. He said, Richard, he called the name of the son. I know the name, but I won't mention it. Okay. He's going to, when he finished, when the son went, the mother took him to school, and he now called me, said, look, you see this house? I'm going to sell it. You see the other one in so place, I'm going to sell it. You see the other one, I'm going to sell. I said, why? Why are you telling me this? He said, well, I'm going to sell all of those buildings. I built them. I'm going to let them know that they also need to build. So they don't sit back and be planning on inheritance. I thought that was a little, stretching it a little. But he actually did those things. He did. The only house he didn't sell was the one they were living in. By the time he passed on, that was the only property they had remaining. But when you now sell, because that's the other thing, you sell the houses. What do you use the money for? You put the money in the bank. When you are now gone, even the ones who hide in some investments and all of that, they get lost to strangers. So, Bolu, now with Miss Banjo is raising her hands. Please go ahead, ma'am.
What you said, I think that it's a good thing to help those, because that's my experience. That's what my father said a long time ago. That's what he said a long time ago. And even though now, looking back, we all laugh about it now. My father told us when we were probably in secondary school, you better read, when you have sons and they are misjudged, he said, you better read your book and make your own way. If you think I'm leaving any inheritance for anybody, forget. I'm not leaving inheritance for you. Yeah, my father was not, he was not a shume. If I mention his name, some people, Ekiti people will know him. But he said, he told us, he pulled our ears like this, go and study, make your own way. Read your book, make your own money. Nobody should depend on what I have. I'm not leaving nothing for nobody. And he used to sing it into our ears. So, now that he's gone, he has things that are lying fallow all over the place. And, when we met, we said, you see, it's his fault, though.
Nobody is interested in those things now, right?
We should come out our eyes from his something. That he has nothing that he's going to leave for us. He did leave things, but now nobody is everybody has what they're doing. Nobody's really interested. I would say probably because my father was a polygamist, so there are quite a number of us, and I have some younger siblings. I know the ones that are interested because they're the ones who haven't done much for themselves. But the truth is that the people whose ears were pulled and they faced their lives and faced their work, they do not have the mindset of, oh, let's go and wake it up. So we have people, strangers calling my elder brother saying, your father is 60, your father is happy. And they will do it. I say, let's not be like Bobby Benson's children. No. Let's go and do something, with all these things. But the truth is that you better set those expectations from the beginning. Because I have friends who tell their children, hey, all these things I'm doing there for you. I said, yeah, I'm sorry for you. You better train them properly so that they don't come to depend on you and think that, oh, they don't have to struggle because they have things that their parents are leaving for them. that have set everything up for you. So don't make any effort in life. Just come, step into it, and this is all yours. So when parents set that expectation from the get-go, you find out that the children will chart their own course. They'll find their own way. They'll make their own things, such that, even if they just want to take care of Baba's things, it's just out of, respect for his memory, and not because they are dependent on those things.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Banjo. Okay, Bolu, I'm still on you, and then we will start rounding off from Mrs. Ishola. Bolu, yeah, you see, I feel I'm not removing myself from whether close to this or close. We all have grown-up children now at different stages of grown-up. When you have that child, okay, that you have drawn, you keep talking, you are still talking, and say, please, hold on to something, do something with the talent. You're obviously talented. And that child is still telling you, is still in the region of his coming. What do you do? What I mean by his coming is, look, I'm really not ready yet. Can't you see, I'm planning. What do you do as a parent?
Okay, that question is for me, yes?
It's for you. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Great shares all of today. Thank you so much, everyone. I mean, it just shows that I've missed you. I think my nods were just affirming the fact that I've missed, your voices, your perspectives, and all of that. So thank you so much. Cases like that, don't all to stand there for, if I may. You can't stop doing what you've been doing, so encouraging, nurturing, challenging, talking, praying, all that to do, and stop doing them because the child is not responding. You can't throw away the baby with the bathwater, yes? Having said that, sometimes, there was this episode where we talked about how you talk to a child, don't go there, don't go there. So there's fire, there's naked flame, and you keep saying, don't go there. The child laughs, he goes and then goes back and then almost touches it and then retracts and then laughs. And, and then this instance, you just leave that child. And almost all of us could say that we had that experience, or at least we had the gist of it happening, So I don't know if it happened in every household or if it was just Fabu that went around, but we all have memories of that story. And then you let the child be and let that child touch that naked flame and let the child feel the burn, the heat, the sensation, that unpleasant pain attached to this. So child will, by memory, commit to the experience. The experience is now real, it's tangible. So sometimes when you're talking, you're trying to create for that child images in their mind's eye, and they're not getting it. Let them face the consequences of their actions to whatever degree that you can handle it. I have a child in that WhatsApp group right now. I'm like, I'll be permit me to speak Yoruba. So I will allow you to go to the full extent of the consequences of the actions that you have repeatedly, committing. I have had to face the consequences of my choices. In fact, I'm still facing some of the consequences of my own actions, inactions, and all of that. So, honey, it's okay for you to face yours as well. I'm rooting for you, just like a football coach. You can't get to the field and play that ball for that. You've been coaching the child, you've been coaching those players off season, and then in season you want to jump on the pitch. No, you can't. All you can do is to keep shouting at the sideline, shouting and encouraging and nudging, and that's really all that you can do. But to play the game, they have to play the game themselves. That's just all that I have to say. You have to let them face it, because they would never forget what they've been through. So if you're talking and nudging and showing and modeling and everything was not enough to create concrete pictures enough in their heads, in their minds, in their hearts to guide them, then haven't done all to stand. Just stand, like, let them face it. Hopefully they'll get to the point where they are not ruined by the consequences of their actions, and how that, hopefully they can make a turnaround and then do better for themselves as God helps them to do. But the only way for me, that's my perspective, is, face it wella, so that when we're now talking after now.
As a parents too. But what I think we should do to our children is, first of all, Yes, I know they need to be supported by us in all. I know they need to be supported by us in all respects. At the same time, we should drum it into their ears that they need to be independent of you. Because if they are ever dependent,
No, wait, sorry to come in here. You see, they know about independence.
Yeah.
Understand? Especially those kind of children actually will quote, "I'm no longer a baby to you."
Yeah.
When it comes to being disobedient, when it comes to being deviant about things, but when it comes to taking responsibility, being productive, being accountable, they are babies now. You understand? So is it allow our children to be dependent? They already know, they already understand dependence.
Sometimes you have to throw some challenges at them and let them carry the if I may use the let them carry the if I may use the word, let them carry the issue. You understand? Throw some challenges at them and be bold enough to close your eyes. Do you understand? Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Let them carry their gorilla. Because sometimes if you don't do that and you think you want to be carrying them, you keep carrying them. Let them throw some challenges at them and let them carry the gorilla and they'll be accountable. And of course, my take here, my prayer is that I hope it won't be too much for them in terms of consequences.
Okay. Okay, and Mrs. Banjo is saying no matter how much we drum it into their ears, they won't hear. So we should allow them to bear the consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
Some of those actions are not, and they can't be repaired. The result of some of the consequences.
Exactly. I'm afraid of some consequences.
That may be true. At some time when they go, at some point in time, they will have to. And maybe you might not even be around to make things better.
Yeah.
I still had to live by the consequences. He was the one who was in a wheelchair for his life. So what can you do about that? If they have told him, don't go to patio, because I remember they used to sing that. But you see, ultimately, I want to believe that most of us on this program, we're believing parents, we're Christians. So no matter how bad the kids are, we're always praying for them. We're always praying for them that they will not come into something that's beyond them, beyond their capacity. That it will just be little life's lessons that will pull their ears, as opposed to something that will deform them. Or that will be so traumatizing that they can't recover from it. So that's the only thing we can do at a particular point in time. Just keep praying for them and ask that these actions they are taking will not be the actions that will mar their lives completely, but that the ones that will pull their ears or give them small knocks on their head and reset them. So, but there's not much you can do. You do what you have to do as a parent and leave the rest. Just be confident in your parenting, or just trust God at the end of the day that I've done what I can.
That's if you have done all you can do. I once read a book a very long time ago. It was written by Al Williams. One Al Williams is noted as the founder or the father of modern day insurance product. And the title of that book was "All You Can Do Is All You Can Do, and All You Can Do Is Enough." Okay. So as parents, we're saying don't stop talking. Don't stop. No matter the age. Because you see, we have gone, this program we started, okay, they are babies. These are no longer babies. We're talking about adults who have gotten out of college, who might even have their own families now. But they're still there. First of all, if you have lived maybe recklessly or without any form of seriousness, you won't be in a position to be providing anything for them. Okay? So there's a need to pass that on to say, well, not in any, you're not competing with your children, you're not contesting with them, but in a loving way to say, look, I'm saying this because I love you, I care about you. Okay? If I had gone on this way, but Professor Wale, I want to bring you at this time, we're saying that yes, we're saying that yes, it's good to provide for them. It's also good for us to know that those conflicting issues are there. I'm no longer a baby. I can do what I like, but at the same time, you cannot pay for the you cannot foot the bill for your actions, and you can't foot the bill for action. But you are telling me paying your bill that look, I'm not longer a baby. Leave me. I can take this. I can take care of myself. But when push comes to shove, like Bolu put in the chat, I say, oh, they carry their cross when push comes to shove. You cannot carry their cross when push comes to shove, because some of these things are actually life and death decisions you have to take. Seriously. When it comes to certain costs, certain payments, okay, certain bill footing, it's life and death. It's not because maybe that you have everything, but because you also have to support. But when you have done all, sir, is it easy to shut? Is it easy to shut your eyes, like has been suggested, to just remove your mind, as has been suggested, sir?
No, what I will say as we close is that parents need to maintain the balance. You do not want, to break your child, and you do not want to also devour them of love, and you do not want to shatter them. Therefore, they are to shatter them. Therefore, there is a middle road between loving and spoiling. So we should create a balance. So we should create a balance between understanding your children so that you know what you need to do in order not to spoil them, and also know what to do so that you do not ignore them as to what you need to do as a parent. Because there are some things they are unable to do. We are expected to do for them. And there are some things expected to do for them. And there are some things that they can do, permit them to do. So
Prof, just a just a pause there. Someone just sent a chat. He said even babies would not put their mother's breasts in their ears or noses. They would direct the breast to their mouth. So even they are not completely ignorant. This is babies now. So there's a form of knowing, deliberate action when young people either refuse to become productive or accountable, sir.
Yeah. So I believe that parents should, you should not be very lenient with your children. You should teach them the differences between what is right and what is wrong, and what is their duty and what is your duty. And if need be, you should also punish them for doing something that is bad. But don't be harsh, so that at least you will not be teaching them.
Can there be punishment and not harsh? Do they go
Don't
together?
be harsh, because so that you don't generate hatred. There are ways to
say correct them instead of punish them.
Well, that's okay if you want that. But the best thing is to teach them not to be receiving than giving, because they will be spoiled.
Thank you so very much.
There are some children that what they do is that they demand things as soon as possible. And there are some children that think only about themselves, never satisfied with what they have. Therefore, parents should completely dissociate themselves from doing such things for their children. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Well, you hear it, people. I mean, it's been wonderful season-ending episode on our slow parenting program. We said at the beginning, please, dear parents, don't stop talking. Keep talking. Okay? They might be 30 years old, 25 years old, 18 years old, 50 years old. My mother never quit counseling me till she passed on. My dad never stopped. Okay? So it's a function of how much the person being counseled is willing to take in what is being said, but do your bit. Always do your bit. Stand to be seen as doing your bit. Pastor Wale said, correct. He said punish. Okay, well, correct. If you are like me and you go and punish Mike Tyson, who is your son, the result might not be nice at the end of the day. Okay, so correct, in love. On a serious note, these issues are not isolated. Okay, they are cross-board. You have young people, our children, who would quote every available statute to tell you, I'm no longer a baby. I can take my own decisions. But when it comes to paying one bill or providing one thing or the other, suddenly they forget those parts of the Bible that says you should earn your own money. Abi? There's even one joke. Somebody said to the father, I don't know what you mean by this is my house. So I don't know exactly what you mean. Okay? I think you should come and go to your father's house. This is my father's house. Yes, so Mrs. Banjo, it's not a joke. It wasn't a joke. Look, you saying this is you've been every time you get up and tell us, yes, but look, I think you should go to your father's house. This is my father's house. That's taking it to the extreme, eh? That's not smartness, actually, really. Because it's my father, I have my father's house, this is also my house. Okay? But let us not let issues get to that stage with our children. The important thing we're saying here is let the children know that they need to earn their living. They need situations everywhere. Thankfully, Mrs. Banjo has used things about here in North America in her speech concerning her children going to school, doing summer jobs, looking for apartments. It's the same thing, money, the same thing everywhere. There's nowhere where you pick it on the street. As a matter of fact, I've also had to say to some young people that, look, if God were to open the windows of heaven and pour money down on earth, you will still find people who will say to God, come, are you serious at all? You mean you don't know my address? Okay? Meaning that God should have sent their own money to their homes, not go and get them the same way every other person would have made efforts to. Let's try to find ways, creative ways, to take away the entitlement mentality from our children. That's important. That's important. And let them also know that the children thing don't stop with you and them. They are coming to have or going to have their own children. That is actually what is the key is. If they can't hold things down by themselves, if they can't imbibe the culture of productive living, what are they going to tell to their children? That's the challenge we have. And so, viewers, followers, subscribers, our friends, we come to the end of another season. From this week, we are going to go into season 3 of the Slow Parenting program. And from season 3, we are going to work on trending issues, okay? Challenging issues in parenting. And let me give you a taste of what we're going to be looking at from the first episode of the next season. We have now been talking about bringing up our children to be responsible. Today we are talking about earning, supporting, and all of that. To our female children, to our male children, we say be responsible. Take responsibility for your reproductive health. Okay? Young girls, don't get pregnant. Don't get to have babies before you are ready to have baby. That you are physically matured doesn't mean you are emotionally and economically matured to take care of a baby. So next episode, to start up our season 3, we are going to be looking at a very, very, I call it pathetic story as a case study. I will share the story, just paraphrase it. We'll go deeper into it next episode. A young woman had a baby as a teenager, early teen, very early teens. And because they couldn't afford to take care of the baby, gave the baby up for adoption. Okay? Gave the baby up for adoption. And of course, went on with her life. Really? Did she? And the baby went on with his life. Really? Did he? Several years later, this same young woman meets a young man. They got into a relationship. That relationship yielded 2 children. Before they got to know that the young man who's in a relationship with was the son she gave out for adoption. So, next episode, that is the case study we are going to be looking at. I leave you to anticipate, to think, both the resource persons, but I was shocked. I've not woken up from the shock. I've not, because I don't know how that could be solved. I don't know what kind of solution can be brought about it. But we might not be able to solve it when it happens. It can be solved, prevented with proper parenting at the beginning. Okay? So thank you all so very much for, we're not starting another session. We're not. Okay? Just telling you what to expect next week. That's what we're going to be dealing with next week. And you can be sure we will be having a whole lot of such issues to handle in season 3. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you, Bolu. Thank you so much. I can see your laughing emoji. Thank you, guys. Look, this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful session. I love this season ending session today. It's so beautiful seeing everybody on camera, lighted up, and then, So season 3, we go on with that. Okay. And if we can manage it, we would have a little meeting. I would have a chat with us on our WhatsApp platform to see when we can just find time to maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour to talk, about going into season 3. Okay. Thank you so very much. Thank you, friends from across the globe. It's a goodbye wave to everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Bye.
Still welcome to August, July. Bye-bye. Yes.
Encourage a particular behavior, right? We want to deter that behavior from occurring in the future. And so we apply.
So we are talking about community. We also remember that your children want to be you. They're not talking about that person that's
Exceptions to every rule, and no matter the best or the most noble of ignorance that we do modeling, sometimes they veer off. I know that there are exceptions.
Focus on quality time rather than the other type of parenting